in hand with North America's largest retailers, restaurant groups, hospitality, you name it, on in-store marketing as well as their in-store visuals. So today I want to take a little bit, short little bit of time, try to crunch as much as we can in, talk about dark stores and ghost kitchens. Probably a subject that we could have had a better plan for late October than late February here. Might have sounded a little bit better, but we'll go with it here today. And don't worry, it's not nearly as scary as it sounds. It's just a new emerging market that very few people are aware of that we want to bring to you today. I can't stress the importance of this enough. Mike Lawrence and I and Doug Twitchell, for a year now, since this pandemic started, we've been talking about BOPUS and curbside, buy online, pick up in store, and curbside, how it was going to take over retail and restaurant world. It did. Now this year, the big emerging market is going to be dark stores and ghost kitchens. So I can't express enough how important this is for your business going forward. And like always on these Learning Thursdays, I want you to just think, as we're going through this, think to yourself, what products do I have in my bag? Hopefully 3A products, but any other products that you have in your bag that might be applicable for, this emerging market that we're talking about. Everybody on here is going to have a little something different to offer. So that, and then of course, first of all, as always, I want to thank everyone for being here and for allowing 3A Composites to be a partner with your business. We value the trust you place with us, and we look forward to growing with you every month and every year to come. So thank you for your business as always. So strangely enough, dark stores. That's a term that even a decade ago, nobody even knew what it was. It wasn't even invented yet. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that people started to talk about it. It's that new of an emerging market. The dark stores, so what are they? So dark stores are basically just traditional retail stores that have been converted into local fulfillment locations for curbside pickup, for delivery locations. And ghost kitchens are not restaurants at all. They're actually food locations that have zero inside dining, strictly prepare food on site for drive-through, sometimes drive-through and delivery, your Uber Eats, your Grubhub, whoever it might be, Postmates, whoever it might be. By the end of 2022, coming quickly, it's estimated that 50% of all restaurants will be ghost kitchens or dark restaurants. This is a trend that's been moving along quickly, similar to the BOPUS and curbside that we've been talking about for the last year. It is something that had been gaining in momentum prior to the pandemic, but the pandemic just sped it up 5, 6, 7, 8 years ahead of where it was headed. Same thing here with dark stores and ghost kitchens. For the last couple of years, we've been seeing more Uber Eats and DoorDash and stuff. But the pandemic and the necessity for staying at home, for quarantining, stay-home orders, whatever it might be, the pandemic has just sped this emerging market up also 5, 7, maybe even 10 years further ahead than where it would have been at this time. The biggest area of growth, and the one we want to talk a little bit about today, is dark grocery. So Mike, if you can throw one ahead, thank you. So here's a Walmart concept of, kind of idea of what a dark grocery is. Grocery has seen an incredible amount of growth in both the curbside and delivery during the pandemic, but it was also seeing growth before the pandemic. In 2019, before we ever heard of COVID, grocery delivery and grocery pickup had risen by 50%, with the forecasted annual growth of 30% per year beyond that. All the pandemic did was come in and absolutely just smash those numbers and just give it a meteoric rise above where it would have been at this point in time. And if Mike can go to the next slide, one of the advantages of having a dark grocery is it's a great way to eliminate a struggling location or a non-profitable location. Instead turning it into a highly profitable location. One of the reasons large grocers want to go with this is, let's say you're in a city where this grocer has 7 locations. 3 of the locations are really killing it, doing great. 3 of the locations are okay, and there's that one that forever, whether it's location or for whatever reason, there's that one location that's just not doing as well. They turn that location into a dark store, taking it from eating away at your profit to rising your profit up, and by utilizing that is the dark location. So one of the things about these dark stores, this slide is an example. Although they're not open to the public, the interior often resembles a typical store. The layout, however, is optimized and done differently to optimize online picking. So if you look at this slide, it's an example of a dark store where it kind of looks like a regular grocery store. You've got aisles, you've got the signage. If you look back there, it's perfect choice for Sintra, where it says 6, 7, 8, all the directional signage. That's an ideal optimized situation for Sintra. But you see that the aisles are just wider. There's obviously no public in there. So even though there's no public allowed inside, it does kind of look like a store from the inside. And then we've all seen over the last year, specifically, the in-store personal shoppers that seem to be everywhere now. It seems like half the time when I'm in the grocery, there's more personal shoppers pushing around these carts with bins on them than there are actual customers in the store some of the time. As a matter of fact, last year, Walmart doubled the number of personal shoppers that they have on their that they have employed. They now have 170,000 personal shoppers, up from 80,000, 85,000 previously. Interesting enough, they're also paid more than the average associate. And it's just an example of how this is an industry that is growing leaps and bounds. And like the picking is the key benefit of having a dark location over like a traditional grocery store. It's just easier for the pickers to get in and out of these wider aisles. You don't have to worry about displays being in the way. Most importantly, you don't have to worry about someone like me taking 9 minutes to pick out an onion. You have to wait for me to get out of the way to get in there. You don't have to wait for anything like that. It also allows for the use of robotics in a lot of cases, especially for your canned goods, your non-perishables. They can use robotics in this case, which boost profitability. Unfortunately, at the cost of human jobs, it boosts profitability another 30 to 50% above and beyond where they're at. And then similar to when we were talking last year and all throughout the year about BOPUS and curbside, what it really was is before you had these bitter enemies, online shopping and brick and mortar shopping, that they could never get along. But finally, BOPUS and curbside came together to find a nice place to play and an area that was mutually beneficial to both businesses. Similar to the dark grocery versus the light grocery, we're starting to see all the major grocers are in design for this. It's kind of a hybrid type store. It's kind of a situation where half the store's light, half the store's dark. So before you go to the store, you get on your app, you go ahead and pre-order your non-perishables, your cereal, your soup, your flour, pancake mix, whatever it might be. And then when you drive there, the other half of the store is light. So the items that you want to pick out for yourself, like the meat, produce, bakery, whatever it might be, you pick those items up quickly, check out, put them in the car, go around to the curbside location and pick up the other half, what you had from the other half of the store, the pre-ordered non-perishable type products. So that's an area where we see, 3 different ways. You can have the light store, dark store, some kind of a hybrid. And actually Forbes magazine just recently had an article on this, and a quote they have in Forbes is, in the next 5 years, this segment is going to absolutely explode. So dark grocery, definitely an area we're going to get into a little bit about some of the products, but as you look through some of these pictures, start using your mind and try to think about what you might have to offer in terms of signage or whatever other products you might have. And then we want to talk about another emerging market called ghost kitchens. Mike, I forgot about that slide, is another example of a different store's version of a dark store. And then if we could go forward, so this is an example of the outside of a ghost kitchen. So ghost kitchens aren't actually restaurants. Some people want to call them dark restaurants, but actually a restaurant by definition is a place that you go inside, sit down, and you eat a meal that's been prepared on site just for you. So ghost kitchens are not actually restaurants anymore. It's an absolutely new emerging market, completely different than the restaurant world. But what ghost kitchens do is they skip the expense of dine-in operations, and they create a direct-to-consumer experience through delivery and pickup. It's kind of the food equivalent of a movie being sent direct to Netflix. And we've all seen what Netflix has done to Blockbuster. At least I'm old enough to where I used to spend my Fridays going to Blockbuster. Not around. I think there's one left somewhere. But we've all seen what that did to Blockbuster and what it's doing now currently to Hollywood with the direct to Netflix movie releases. So it's a growing market, and we'll do a quick trivia question right here in the chat function if anybody wants to take a guess. The trivia today is, who can guess what the average number of times a week that the average American ordered for curbside or delivery last year? So how many times a week did the average American order curbside or delivery? Not takeout, not drive-through, not going in to eat, just strictly curbside or delivery. We'll just take a minute and see if Mike can monitor if anybody comes up with some good answers for 30 seconds. Good answers. Everybody's all around it. Oh, and look, Chuck, you read the article. There's no way Chuck could do that. The average number, Chuck and I must have shared the magazine. The average is 2.4 times per week last year that the average American ordered. So it's an industry that's absolutely exploding. It's expected to go above 5 in the next couple of years. And the Econometer market research survey company out of Europe recently did published an article where they estimate that this will be a $1 trillion industry by the year 2030. Ghost kitchens alone will be a $1 trillion a year industry by 2030. Now that's the definition of an emerging market that is it's not even a market right now. You know, this also happens to be the reason why Uber founder and CEO Travis Kalanick, I can never say his name right, started his own business in this field called Cloud Kitchens. Mike, if you can go one forward, I think that's next. Yep. So Cloud Kitchens has already raised in the last 18 months $130 million simply for real estate to build their kitchens into in the last 18 months through different ways. And then there's also another competitor. I'll talk about their business models in a minute, called Cluster Truck. Mike, I think that's the next one. We'll go back one. Yep, Cluster Truck. It's another player in this field. It claims here, as you see, to be America's first delivery-only kitchen service. How these two different? There are two ways that companies go about doing a cloud kitchen. One is the cloud kitchen way. What this is, if Mike will go back a couple of slides, it's just a bunch of different restaurants all getting together in one place. The outside of the building kind of looks like a warehouse or a typical business, but inside you might have a Mexican place, an Italian place, sushi, pizza, inside a bunch of different restaurant concepts, all sharing one roof, one electric bill, and being one location for delivery to come into. The second method is what Cluster Truck is doing, which is a little bit different in that they're kind of using like the California Pizza Kitchen menu idea, where it's a very eclectic menu where you can get anything you want. You know, you could get a salad, you could get chicken, you can get pot roast, whatever you want, but a very eclectic offering of foods that can be done, but it's all under one company called Cluster Truck. So two different ways that the same thing. Cluster Truck will have like 7 locations around town. Food Kitchens here in Columbus has a couple. My hometown has a couple of locations around town. And what's interesting here about Cluster Truck in this slide that Mike has up is they're also putting some locations within large grocery stores. So basically the idea is you go in after work, you get your coffee for the next day, you get your milk, maybe baby diapers, whatever you need to get. You go into the grocery store, you get those, and then when you enter, you place an order at the entrance for the Cluster Truck, and then you pick dinner up and take it home with you when you go home. So a new concept of kind of that. This is a little hybrid idea for the ghost kitchens. And then when you actually, if Mike can go back to, I think, slide 5, if you can go back to slide 5, these ghost kitchens, perfect, thanks, Mike. These ghost kitchens are like something out of kind of like a futuristic sci-fi kind of movie. The outside, you know, can look like this, you know, just looks like your average office building or manufacturing facility. But the inside is something totally different. It's kind of like a cross between a hospital, maybe in a bus station, where you walk into one of these, it's dark, and you walk in and you'll see some drivers sitting along a row of chairs, and they're all on their phones, just sitting there waiting for their next instructions, doing nothing, sitting idly staring at their phones. And then you'll look down like 3 long hallways. In the case of the one in Columbus, it's 3 long hallways, dark hallways with rooms down each side of the hallways, and each one of those is a kitchen, and it's a numbered room in that kitchen. And outside is a very stale stainless steel aluminum rack or shelving type system. And then every now and then you'll see one of the doors open to these closed rooms. Say it's closed room number 4, the Mexican restaurant. They put the food out on this steel rack, and at the same time that they're putting the food out on the steel rack, you see one of the drivers that was sitting on their phone go running down that hall, grab the food, run out to their car, and begin the delivery process. And this is just rinsed and repeated all day long, and everything is about efficiency and speed. Is the number one driving factor for customer satisfaction in this segment is speed. How quickly do you get the food, and how correctly do you get the food? So those two are major players. And then Mike, if we can go forward from there to the, I forget what number slide it is, the Burger King slide. Of course, not missing out on what is going on here is QSR, or fast food. Every fast food giant that I work with, whether it's McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Subway, whoever it might be, is working on some form of the ghost concept, some form of a hybrid, some form of the ghost concept. You take a look here, this is a Burger King concept that came out not too long ago. You see on the top left, that's actually the kitchen above the drive-through lanes. In the center is just like a takeout to-go area. The top right is a little bit of inside seating, but not much. And here you've got different kind of drive-throughs. You've got drive-throughs, your traditional drive-through. You've got your pre-order drive-through. You've got your drive-through for delivery, Uber, Grubhub, whoever it might be. So you've got 3-4 different kind of options for getting your food in a contactless way. And if Mike, you can go through one more slide. It shows even another part of this, where if you look on the right, where they've got a curbside course, old school kind of 50s style, sonic driven idea of like eating within the carport. This is on a great opportunity for upselling signage, because you've got people sitting there for 25, 30 minutes eating their food. It's a great opportunity. I've got a product, brand new product nobody's heard about yet, or hardly anybody's heard about. I'm going to mention it a little bit. That's perfect for this application. Sintra, any kind of signage upsell in this emerging market is going to be something that's going to be great. And if we go forward one more, just another example, this is Taco Bell and their Cantina concept. No inside seating whatsoever. And again, it's just the same thing, drive-through and Grubhub only. Those are your or Uber Eats or DoorDash or whoever your delivery might be, but it's either a drive-through or a delivery options, or all there is, no people going inside the store. So like it or not, in the words of the great Bob Dylan, the times, they are a-changing. COVID has just sped up some of the change, making some people uncomfortable. Other people like myself see it as a great advantage to be a little bit of a differentiator. It's just great opportunity if you take the positive mindset to go forward to your customers and be an even greater asset to your customers than you are currently for 3A. It's an excellent opportunity, because all of the designers that I talk to are spending more focus now than ever because of the pandemic on outdoor spaces, whether that's a mall, a restaurant, a dentist office. You might have to queue outside. You might have to wait outside, sit in your car outside before you get to go in for your appointment. So similar to Boppus and Curbside last year with outdoor signage, it's all great for 3A because it's signs everywhere, signs coming up, and it's emerging markets. And we're going to talk now a little bit real quickly about some of the solutions that we have. The first solution I'd like to mention real quickly is Sintra. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Sintra. What some people don't know is that 3A Composites invented it. kind of like a Band-Aid. You can use other self-adhesive bandages, but we're Sintra. We actually invented the product. It's a moderately expanded PVC, super lightweight, durable, printable, and great for outdoor uses. Mike, if you could go back one forward to 12, to slide 12. Perfect. This is a terrible picture. I take all the blame for this. I took the picture myself. It's a Chick-fil-A near me, but what I wanted to emphasize here is this is a curbside pickup. Of course, it's Chick-fil-A. It's got 830 slots for somebody to pick up. There's always 1,000 people in line or somewhere around a Chick-fil-A. But if you notice that what all they did was they took Sintra. This is a temporary application. They're turning it into a permanent application. But each one of those red signs you see down through there is Sintra, stapled to a board. Not well done yet, but they're going to have permanent spots for those. They chose Sintra because it's super lightweight, printable, durable. A second option we have is our Dibond. It's an ACM aluminum composite material. It's perfect for, if you go back to slide 3 and 4, when we were inside the dark grocery facilities. It's perfect for directional instructional signage in there because it takes moisture really well, and it's very extremely durable, printable, super lightweight. It's also an option for the facings in those carports that you saw in the Burger King example, where you like the actual system that you would order from, putting signage up on there that can take the beating from the elements and keep on ticking. And then last but not least, Mike, if you could go to slide 13 on this one. So this is our regular DISPA. Think of this as like a coming attraction for the movies or a trailer for the movies. It's not here yet, but it's coming. It's called DISPA Outdoor. This is a game changer. Thank you, Mike, for putting that up. This is going to be a game changer in the industry. It's the perfect substrate. It's the perfect time where everything is moving to outdoor spaces. I've been in plastics my entire life, which you can tell with the gray hair. It's been a long time. I've been in plastics back to the 80s, but I've spent the last 20 years cutting my teeth in sustainable substrates and sustainable plastics, starting with PLA, the Cargill-based, plant-based plastic back in 2002, 2003. And ever since I have been in the world of sustainability, retailers, restaurants, everybody's asking me, can you use it outdoor? Can you use it outdoor? Can you use it outdoor? And the answer's always been no. And for the first time, we have 100% forestry certified, 100% recyclable outdoor product for campaign use. It's 100% paper-based. It's foldable, scoreable. So if you were to look at what's up on the screen, this is a curbside area of a local Walmart. I took this picture, slightly better than the last one, but still not that great. So you could even do a wraparound for like St. Patrick's Day, advertising Guinness, or Memorial Day, you know, hot dogs, burgers, coleslaw, Pepsi, whatever it might be, and use those. You take a look at this area. People are going to sit here for 5, 7, 10 minutes waiting. By the time you get in, you get on your phone, you let them know you're there. They find your groceries, they get it out, they put it in your trunk. That's a captured audience for 5 to 7 minutes that's looking at nothing but a number in front of them. It's a perfect opportunity to use a fully recyclable campaign length use product like DISPA Outdoor in for that situation. So a little sneak preview of a product that's coming down the pike that I think with everything moving to outdoor spaces, whether it's malls or restaurants, whatever it might be, having to wait outside, that could be the perfect product at the perfect time for that. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. At 3A Composites, we take pride in how we are different than other companies in our space, and that we are actually active participants with all the major brands in North America, whatever area of business that they're in shaping the new world of retail, restaurants, hospitality, whatever it may be. And our hope is that in having these third Thursdays and passing along some of the information that we see while we're out and about, that it will help you to be an even better advocate and a better asset to your customers. Because believe me, with everything that's going on with this pandemic and nobody knows what the next new or the new normal is going to be, everybody's clamoring for new ideas and you know, being able to talk to them about a new emerging market like dark spaces and ghost kitchen might help you be a better asset to your customers. So thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Mike.
Awesome. All right, how is everybody doing? Everybody okay? All right. Any questions before we part ways here? Any questions on what you saw? If you don't mind using the chat function, we would greatly appreciate that. And again, want to thank Alan for his time, his expertise. Hey, there I am. And for taking some time with us today to talk about dark stores. We did see how this was emerging quite a bit. There's a few more slides we didn't get to that we chose not to go through, but just to understand that Whole Foods has dark stores coming up, especially starting up north. One in Brooklyn. We found another one elsewhere, kind of Midwest. Stop and Shop, if that's a grocery store that you're familiar with, they have dark stores now. We even saw where Uber Eats has partnered with stores in Europe, across Spain and France and Italy, to do grocery delivery as well. So this is something that is definitely not going away. So it's pretty exciting to be on the forefront of understanding what's coming or what's already here, but at the same time, understand that it's happening as we're speaking. So the opportunity is now when it comes to finding our dark stores and dark spaces in your area. So I encourage you to go out, look up dark stores, Google it. You'll be surprised what'll pop up around most of the metropolitan areas in most of the states. So definitely make yourself available to that. But we don't have any questions coming in, so we're going to wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, Alan, for joining us once again. And we look forward to seeing you all again next month. So until then, have a fantastic rest of the week. Stay warm. Our Texas friends, please stay safe. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.